All right, well, let's get ourselves started. Very interesting discussion that we're going to have this afternoon. We want to welcome everyone to our discussion. We have this discussion every Sunday afternoon, and we often have special guests, and we're always excited about that because you're guaranteed to learn something. If that's what your goal is, if that's what your desire is, you will get that here. So, but before we begin, my name is Jonathan Jones. It's my pleasure, my privilege to be your host and moderator for the afternoon. We have to tell you that the FDA has not evaluated any of the comments that we're making. This is for information and educational purposes only. Some entertainment value comes out of it, so every once in a while you would get a chuckle out of something. But when you hear testimonials, please understand that testimonials are purely anecdotal. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. But the individuals, when they tell their stories, they are just relating what they believe happened to themselves, and they are free to do that as long as we let you know that it may or may not happen to you. So we strongly recommend that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust when making decisions about your health and well-being. So with that in mind, I'd like to share an interesting story to sort of lay the groundwork for our discussion, because this story happened. It was shared, at least with a group of us maybe about a month or so ago. And you'll find it interesting because it sort of epitomizes what we're going to be talking about today. So our discussion today is about anti-aging. So, and we're of course not talking about literally turning the clock backwards, but Dr. Prasad wrote a paper on anti-aging. And in his paper, he described a bunch of things that convey scientifically the beginning of the aging process, and then a very simple solution to ameliorating it, not stopping it altogether, but taking the edge off of it, improving the quality of our life as we age, because let's just all face it, it is happening whether we like it or not. But this first story is a woman. I don't think she relates how old she is, but she does kind of say something happened as soon as she began to take microdaily. Something happened. You know what? I'm not going to share that one with you. I'm going to share the one that I think Dr. Prasad needs to comment on right away. So let's hear from Ann Davenport. Okay, let's see what Ann's got to say and how she describes her story. And her story is loaded with, I think, things that every one of us would love it if it happened to us. Okay, so let's see if we can get the sound to play.
You know what?
So
we are anxious to hear your story. And you know how anxious we are?
Yeah.
You know how anxious? I'm getting ready to get off the screen because we want to hear your story. Okay?
Well, I started with Micro Daily, just the regular one, because it was less expensive. And I was taking that for quite a while. And all my numbers went down. I'm diabetic, heart problems, all of the high blood pressure, had all of it. And my numbers went down. My A1C went from about 9 down to 7.1. And just lately, I was feeling all right, but like I need a little boost. So I added the eye boost because I was having problems with my eyes, injections, and I no longer have those because I started the eye boost. But I went up to EMF, and that's when I saw a significant improvement. My last labs were just tremendous. The doctor could not believe it. They wanted to know what was I doing to get my numbers down. All my labs were normal, and no protein in urine, kidney function, liver function, pancreas, everything was normal. A1C was 6.1, and my cholesterol overall was 140. So I thought that was so tremendous that I went down in those numbers, and I thought I'd never do it. My blood pressure was not really out of range, but it could be better. And now I'm just registering mostly between 119 to 125 with my blood pressure. So I thought that was so significant, and I'm taking the EMF only and the eye boost. But they were overjoyed. I gave the doctor's office, the heart doctor and my primary doctor. They all wanted to know. I went to the heart doctor last week, and he wanted to know how was I doing this, because I had surgery, heart, about 8 years ago, and I have not had any more problems. So he wanted to know why I was changing doctors wanted to come. And I told him I needed a cardiologist in the area to just check every year, for a yearly checkup. So he said, well, you're doing fine. And the surgery was successful, all of it, in 2014, I think. And I've been doing good ever since. But the microdaily is what really got me back. Then I had the COVID back in 2021. And I got over it, but what really brought me back through that, I got off of the microdaily back a while back, but really what brought me back to it again was that I didn't have any energy, even though I was doing fine. I didn't have the energy. And then when I went on microdaily, that improved my health overall. So I feel great now. I just started exercising. The doctor, of course, eating the proper diet and losing weight is going to be a key as well. But overall, I think I'm on the right track, and I'll always recommend microdaily, and I'll be taking it forever.
That is absolutely wonderful story, and I'm so glad that we got your name right. First of all, so we had the record straight on this. Mm-hmm. But that is amazing that you saw the results. Would you mind just telling us again what affected you? What change did you see in your blood pressure?
Well, my blood pressure was never really high. I would be like 145. A little above sometimes, if I ate things, but I think a lot of it was my diet. I did good with my diet with salt, and it was 135, 145. Sometimes it could go a little higher, but now I'm like 119 to 125, 130 maybe.
That's the blood pressure of a 20-year-old, right?
Yeah, the doctor said too. They were amazed at my labs because I don't have protein. I've been diabetic for over 30 years. And I don't have any effect of the diabetes so far.
No effects of the diabetes so far. And you saw your A1C.
That's why I'm so.
Yeah, you saw your A1C.
Yeah.
Go
down. My A1C is.
What is it?
It's 6.1 now.
It's
Last
6.1.
time I had it back in December.
Yeah. And what's your fasting sugar levels?
Maybe about 94 to 125.
And I think anybody who's on here now that's diabetic, I think you automatically know that when you have fasting sugar levels at that level, that is unbelievable. That's amazing.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah. And what kind of fasting sugar levels were you seeing before, Ann?
Well, I was up high because when I first started really paying attention to it, because I had diabetes, I took a pill and I thought I was fine because I was very busy, active, and didn't have any effect. And it would stay pretty much, it would be slightly elevated through the years. But I got where I couldn't control it. And it was like, I think when I first started really paying attention to it, to the doctor, it was like 10 point something.
Your A1C was 10 point something. So what was your fasting sugar levels running around that time?
155, 160, 170. Okay. Occasionally it would be lower, but it was up and down, yo-yoing, yeah.
Okay. So, but your A1C was at 10, so you were in full-blown diabetes at that point.
Yes.
Wow.
And so I got it down to about 8, and I could never move from 8 until I started the microdaily, and that's when I saw a significant change in it. It was amazing. I was shocked to see it that low.
Wow.
But it went down 6.1.
Now your doctor, and the doctors want to know what you're doing to have such a huge effect like that.
Microdaily and Dr. Prasad, all that. I gave them all of it. The heart doctor and my primary doctor, they wanted to know. I even I brought the bottle so they could look at the bottle. The PA said, I'm going to have to do some research on this. She got it and wrote everything down and asked me all these questions about it. And she said, I got to look into this. at the heart doctor.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, congratulations. Mind sharing with us just how young you are, Ann?
I'm 72.
72 years young. Okay. And
Yeah.
that's a beautiful thing. Thank you very much for being willing to share your story.
Maybe I'll live to be 80, 85.
She
Yeah,
has,
no. I think you, if you keep doing what you like to your years.
I had one more thing. They put me, I went to the hospital to take a test because I did an x-ray on my legs because I was having a problem with my left toe. It was nothing, they didn't know what it was. It was nothing wrong. They kept taking x-rays and whatever. So I went to have this test done for my blood flow in the arteries. So I went and they said, just nothing to be concerned about the first time. When I went back the second time, there was nothing. They couldn't find, and it was normal. Everything was normal in the blood flow, in the arteries and everything. Now that was what they really triggered me, that I would be on microdaily for life because I just knew I'm going to start having limb problems and cutting on stuff. And so the toe went away, got better and everything. So I don't have any problem with that. But that was the main reason that I would stay on it. I said, I'm going to have to lose weight and cut food because I got to get this every month.
You said you're gonna cut back on food, right?
Yes, I'm going to have to take this every month. Yeah, because they were saying my legs, and I said, oh my God, and I was feeling it. But then now I'm not having any problem anymore. And they did the second test, and it was normal.
Wow. Now, what were you feeling in your legs? You were feeling poor circulation?
Well, I wasn't feeling anything because it was early, but I had this problem with this left toe was sore all the time, and I didn't know what it was coming from. And so really it was coming from lack of circulation to that.
That's right.
And that's why they sent me for that. So I had a vascular thing on my neck done where they unstopped the artery. Yeah. And then the doctor just he was gonna have to do the right side, but when I went back, there was no evidence of any blockage at all. So I'm reborn. Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I'm so happy about that artery thing because
yeah, you should
just
be.
Cleared up. And I was about to get into bad.
Yes,
I was
you were.
too. So that cleared up. I'm so happy. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. Thank you very much for sharing your story.
Well, there you have it. Anne tells an absolutely remarkable, an absolutely amazing story there of changes in her body. And as I said before, we have to keep in mind that the FDA has not evaluated any of these statements. Testimonials are anecdotal, results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. So Engage makes no claims that microdaily will treat or cure any disease state. So please keep that in mind. But we want to get ourselves into our program because in this program, we talked a couple of weeks ago, we had part one of slowing down aging. And it's all based on Dr. Prasad's research, his anti-aging research. So he'll get a chance to tell us a little bit more about this as we go. If you want to hear part one, you just go back to YouTube channel and you'll find the recording of part one. But Dr. Prasad will get more into some of the details now. And here's where the second part of this goes: aging and improving the effectiveness of drugs and in Alzheimer's disease. So he's going to focus a little bit more on that, drill down a little bit, but we're going to hear his comments on this story that Ann Davenport just shared with us. So let me properly introduce Dr. Prasad to our discussion now. Dr. Prasad was a professor at the University of Colorado School of Medicine for 30 years. So we're not talking about Dr. Prasad. We're talking Professor Prasad here. This is a gentleman who taught doctors. So his level of expertise goes to an entirely different level. He was a former member of the International Society of Cancer, and there's an update on this. It was the Royal Society of London, not the British Society. We'll get that corrected later. But the main thing he received is that Dr. Prasad was invited to be a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee. So please keep that in mind. That's serious credentials right there. the world's first radiation biology PhD. His products have been awarded 7 patents on micronutrients. He's the gentleman who discovered the anti-cancer potency of vitamin E succinate. Now, if you're wondering about vitamin E succinate, is that just any old vitamin? No, there's more than one kind of vitamin E. And Dr. Prasad knew that. He was the one who identified that this specific one, vitamin E succinate, has anti-cancer properties to it. He also discovered that butyric acid, small fatty acid formed by fermentation of fibers in the gut, is an anti-cancer agent. So think about it. If someone was to formulate a product specifically for the gut, having to do with prebiotics and probiotics, wouldn't you want it to be someone who made a discovery in that area and has been published more than 250 times? And one of his papers is one that inspired many other scientists to do research in this area of the gut. Dr. Prasad is the one who leads the way in that. He's also authored or co-authored more than 32 books. He's working on number 33 even as we speak. This is just a snapshot of some of the books that Dr. Prasad has authored. His most recent one, we really want you to take a screenshot of this screen right here, right now, because that QR code will take you right to his most recent book, the one here on dementia and memory loss. So you want to get this before you forget, pun intended. It's entitled Dementia, Memory Loss, How to Prevent and Improve Treatment. It's an educational book written for the public and provides easy to follow guidelines on how to avoid the risk of memory loss. This book also provides recent scientific information on how to reduce the risk of memory loss and how to improve current drug treatment with the help of micronutrients. And by the way, while you're there on Amazon getting that book, go ahead and grab the one there on fighting cancer with vitamins and antioxidants at the same time. That's my recommendation. So it's my privilege to formally introduce to our discussion now, Dr. Kedar Prasad. So Dr. Prasad, thank you so much for joining us. And please, sir, welcome to our discussion. And don't forget to unmute yourself.
Okay. Thank you very much, Jonathan. And my first question about the lady that presented her thing was, who has a diabetes and all kind of health issue. Was she on a diabetic medication before she, and when she added the micronutrient or microdaily or microdaily EMF, was she on a diabetic medication?
She did not say. I did not know her personally. She came on a meeting and she was determined to share her story, and she just unloaded what she shared there. I don't know which medication she was on, but
no, at least she was some kind of oral medication. I mean, if
she was probably taking insulin.
Yeah,
I believe she was insulin dependent, Dr. Prasad.
That means she was type 1 diabetes.
Good question. Then she said that she went up to 10.1 and adding micronutrients.
I mean, that's amazing.
Went down to 6.1. Her A1C dropped, Dr. Prasad. Tell us about this. How did it happen?
Yeah, well, as you know, that increased oxidative stress caused by generation of excessive amount of free radicals as you grow older, and they also chronic inflammation that free radical will induce it, and so those things are central issue for the initiation and progression of diabetes and all diabetes related complication as well. So if you downregulate it, if you decrease them by microdaily EMF, say for example, that's the best product that can simultaneously reduce oxidative stress and chronic inflammation at the same time. And therefore, you expect that any disease that are linked with this one, whether it's a diabetes, whether it is a Alzheimer or anything, will be helpful. And that's what she found it, that despite of insulin, this is the story of everything. If you get diagnosed diabetes, for example, and as soon as you get diagnosed, if you are not type 1, if you are type 1, then you inject insulin. If you are type 2, then they will start with initial drug metformin. And then you get resistance. There is 7 different class of drug. So one class, metformin, becomes resistant, then go to second class of drug, third class. By the end up, and 5 different drugs. Despite that, disease slowly continued to progress. And in many cases, you develop diabetic-related complication. And when she mentioned that she has some kind of soreness in the,
Yeah.
that is a classical. And if you don't do anything on that, that is the one which can lead to amputation.
Okay.
So this is very important. And so, but again, all are related to oxidative stress. And if you downregulate that, of course, it will help.
So, Dr. Prasad, this woman says that she's been diabetic for 30 years. I believe I heard her say.
See, it's because she was by giving insulin, say type 1 diabetes, then you can have a reasonable quality of life, but then you can have all kind of health issue. She has a cardiac problem, blood pressure problem, but they don't kill you. You are taking medication, though you prolong it. But quality of life is not very good.
No, she was declining.
Surgery, she has to all the heart medication and so on. And so our goal is that if you have an early intervention, suppose somebody diagnosed today type 1 diabetes, he starts injection, that's a good idea. But what happens then, if you become resistant to one small dose, then insulin will increase, and when become resistant, then add another oral medication. So you can prolong the life with very poor quality of life. And so that's
I got you.
Suppose somebody does today, and you start on, say, micro daily, and suppose you are taking, a doctor said you have to have injection because type 1, there is no other way you can do it. So you start it, but at the same time, you start also micro daily EMF. And with doing that, then you can avoid all these eye problems she was having. They were all related to diabetes.
Dr. Prasad, just one more thing before we keep going here. She said that she had to have a procedure to clear her artery on the left side, and the doctor was planning to do the right side, went back in and did not have to do anything to the right side. What happened? How is it that?
But remember the Maverick trial that we did in Denver among firefighters?
Yes.
By Dr. Boone?
Yes.
And it showed clearly that at the end of 1 year, it was a gradual procedure. The thickness of carotid artery, where you develop the narrowing of the artery, and that prevent the blood flow, did not happen if you are taking the microdaily. This was the original microdaily, not even microdaily EMF, among firefighters. And those people who were on a standard Lipitor drug, simvastatin, and then they develop it. So heart medication did not prevent it until he added these are not a combination, but just microdaily alone can do that. And you can imagine that microdaily EMF would be much better and quicker effect than microdaily original.
So are you trying to tell us, she said that, by the way, she said that she noticed a marked difference
Yes.
in her health when she went to EMF. But now, are you trying to tell us that Maverick study was not just a fluke, and you're not surprised at all that this woman had the same results?
Exactly, except that he got probably quicker because she started doing microdaily EMF.
Okay.
But I'm not surprised at all because the Maverick trial, I could not have predicted it. Before Maverick trial, if somebody had said that micronutrient will do that, I would not have said, no, it's not possible. But now it tells you that oxidative stress is so critical in your body.
Right.
It is absolutely essential for your survival. But excess of oxidative stress that your body cannot handle it, then all hell gets loose.
Wow. So not only did it have an amazing effect in Colorado on firemen, here's a senior at 72.
Yeah.
With a history of diabetes, a history of comorbidities, survivor of COVID, taking the medication. She did not have to have a procedure to clear up calcification in her carotid artery.
And that's also the Maverick trial, we also see that just microdaily alone improves the lipid profile, lower cholesterol, higher HDL, lower LDL. Just like Lipitor.
Everything that she said, she said that happened to her. So, wow.
I'm not surprised, but nice to see some more people are, under that condition. Firefighter was a normal guy. He was not suffering with anything, but here she was suffering it, and still she can manage a good quality life.
Well, I'm here to tell you, just like her, she says she's going to cut back on food to stay
That's
on.
always a good idea.
No. She wasn't doing cutting back on food because she wanted to cut back on food. She cut back on food for economic reasons.
Yeah, right.
She put EMF in higher priority than her groceries is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm with her on that one now.
I see. Yeah.
So it's high on my grocery list is what I'm trying to say. So let's talk about your anti-aging. And
Sure.
the title of your paper was a micronutrient mixture with collagen peptides, probiotics, cannabidiol, and diet may reduce aging and development of progression of age-related Alzheimer's disease and improve its treatment. So that's the title of your published paper.
Right.
So in part 2 here, you're going to take us forward and start to give us some focus on improving the effectiveness of drugs, specifically with Alzheimer's disease.
Right.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Well, take us there.
Here is the standard statement that oxidative damage and inflammation, chronic neuroinflammation in this case, plays a central role in the development and the progression of Alzheimer's disease. And as you know, the brain uses a lot of oxygen, and anytime you use a lot of oxygen for generating energy, free radicals are formed. And as you know, free radicals are formed that they are very damaging. And brain is the least prepared to defend against the increased oxidative stress because it has the lowest level of antioxidant defense system, lowest level than any other organ. And therefore, we have to provide them some extra to help brain. And
so the same oxidative stress that we were dealing with before is even greater issue here when it comes to the brain and Alzheimer's disease.
Exactly, because brain is, than any other organ, uses more energy, more oxygen to generate 20% of respired oxygen that you take through every day used by the brain.
Gotcha.
Even though it is a small, it is not as big as the heart. But in any case, so this is very important to how to reduce the oxidative stress. And when you have reducing oxidative stress and also chronic neuroinflammation. So this is very important to remember.
Gotcha.
Now, why oxidative occurs? First, because of the naturally brain uses a lot of oxygen. But another reason is that if you have micronutrient deficiency, that will further increase the neuroinflammation in the brain. If you have a autophagic defect in autophagic function, what is autophagic is the job of this thing is to remove any dead cell or damaged protein from your cell so the cell can improve its function. Also, a sign of aging is that the loss of telomere, which is a DNA segment on the top of the chromosome, makes sure that when the cell divides, it is precise cell division and nothing happens. So there is when you age, there is a loss of telomere. But if you treat them cells in at least simpler model system with antioxidant, they reduce the rate of loss of telomere. So this has been shown experimentally. Nobody has tried in human, but experimentally, this is true. But you know it happens in human as well.
Right.
Therefore, it is possible that an increase of oxidative stress also impairs the DNA repair capacity. And these are directly involved for the aging process. But first two that we mentioned, increased oxidative stress and the neuroinflammation are specifically or specific to development and progression of Alzheimer's disease.
Alzheimer's disease. Gotcha.
They have nothing to do with the last two, like for example, increased DNA repair capacity has nothing to do because brain neurons are non-dividing, so it doesn't replicate, so you don't have to worry about DNA repair. But it is very important that the function of the autophagic function get impaired. So here's another one. This we already discussed this one.
Right.
Next. Increase oxidative stress. Now, why we lose collagen? Collagen is very, very important. 30% of our collagen in our body, 30% of it represents the total protein of what we have. So collagen represents 30% of total protein we have in our body. That's a large amount.
Wow.
It's present everywhere. There are 28 different types of collagen. But collagen 1 and collagen 3 that we have in our formulation represents 90% of the total. So that's enough to provide everything.
Okay.
But in brain, we have a type collagen 6.
6.
Collagen 6 is the brain. It is only present in neuron, but not in glia cell. And therefore, experimental data show that it is a neuroprotective agent. It protects the nerve cell. How? Because suppose in case of Alzheimer, we have a lot of amyloid. This is unique of Alzheimer's disease, that your body started producing a lot of amyloid protein, which is called beta amyloids. And this is very toxic to neuron, extremely toxic. So what collagen 6 does, it binds it. And so, but also that you can see that if you have just individual beta amyloid, that is not significant, but it produces so much, then they start aggregating it, and they are very neurotoxic. And so what collagen peptide does, 6, it binds with the amyloid and make them inactive. But it does not prevent the production of beta amyloid. So until you have every time there, it will be of some value, but not complete value. In other words, by itself is not sufficient. But if you combine with, say, microdaily, which will prevent the oxidative stress and inflammation, then effectiveness is become more, because increase this the microdaily will not only inhibit the production of beta amyloid, they will prevent the production. So it has double function. It will prevent production. And here comes collagen peptides that also improves by binding, making the beta amyloid inactive. So
this is huge.
Yeah.
This is huge. I didn't know that this type 6.
6, yes.
Collagen. I didn't know that it was a binding agent to beta amyloid.
Yes. In experimental system, it has been shown. And if this is true in human, you can see it will have a tremendous implication. That increased oxidative stress also cause what is called hyperphosphorylation of another protein called tau protein that is associated with the progression of Alzheimer's disease. So if you downregulate oxidative stress, you prevent the hyperphosphorylation of the tau protein, and therefore it is not toxic. Because once you get hyperphosphorylation, that also becomes very, very toxic.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, this is very important. How critical is oxidative stress? I don't think many people understand it, not only in aging, but age-related all diseases. Alzheimer's is just one example.
Yeah, but the brain, this is so critical, and there's so many neurodegenerative diseases on the rise right now.
Yeah.
So I hope everybody's hearing this, that if you don't have collagen as part of your subscription, you might want to make sure that you get that and have a conversation about that with your sponsor. So
because it is not only it affects the neurological disease, but also you saw in diabetes. It improves the secretion of the insulin from the pancreas to the blood. So that is very important. At least 2 functions of collagen we didn't know before.
Yeah, well, I take 1 scoop of that twice a day, so I don't play around with that.
So it is so important that, and therefore we feel that if you combine this and last one, which is very as important as the first 2, is a probiotics, right?
You're right.
And so probiotics, as you know, as early 2,000 years ago, reducing, and as you know that why some people have tried. First, let me talk about single antioxidant, because this is what happens. A single antioxidant People have tried in Alzheimer's, all neurological diseases, in diabetes. In animal, it works very nicely to reduce it. But in human, it has never worked. Why? Because, if your body has already high oxidative stress, and if you give vitamin E or vitamin C or beta carotene,
One antioxidant won't even come close.
no, then it will get oxidized. In the presence of oxygen, it will get oxidized.
Okay.
It will act as a pro-oxidant or like a free radical rather than as an antioxidant. It will act as a pro-oxidant rather than antioxidant. No, this is not forever. I don't know why people are still trying to use one agent in a clinical study. And this is unfortunate.
Wow. It would act as an oxidant rather than an antioxidant. That's huge.
Exactly.
Wow.
And also suppose if you just give somebody vitamin E, for example, it will protect the lipid soluble, like membrane.
Yeah.
But 80% of this cell is water soluble. Who is going to protect that?
Yeah.
You need, so you need a water soluble as well. And
Yep.
so there are all kind of different agents, different types of, all antioxidants that we take, suppose mixture, they distributed among our body. Different organs pick up different amount.
Yeah. Well, I want to protect all my cells. So thank you, Dr. Prasad, for your work. I don't want just my oil solid. I want the liquid, the lipid, and all of them. Just get them all.
Get all. And then you are sure that all part of your body is, and that's why you said that how to simultaneously reduce oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. To my knowledge, one and only way is micro-daily EMF to increase the level of antioxidant enzyme by activating NERV2, a nuclear transcription factor, and the level of antioxidant compound that we take from the diet. Some of them are made in our body. So this is very important to remember that in order to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation, you have to elevate both antioxidant enzymes and antioxidant compound.
At the same time.
Yeah, at the same time. And antioxidant enzyme is like glutathione peroxidase, catalase, superoxide dismutase. These are the classical antioxidant enzymes, but they cannot increase the level of antioxidant compound. So you have to come up with additional, like we have in micro-daily, vitamin A, C, E, coenzyme Q10, and so on.
Yeah, I counted. I counted on your ingredients list 4 different things that activate NERV2. That's a big deal.
Yeah, and they all do by different. So it is additive. So this is very important. How effective, and these are the reason why the EMF is so effective in reducing oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, whether it's peripheral or central.
Wow, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Okay, now you add in the probiotic component.
Yeah, probiotic is, as I was telling you that 2,000 years ago, not so earlier, the Hippocrates, the father of medicine, that today's medical student take an oath of his principle, namely, do no harm to patient.
Yeah.
But at that time, he suggested that all the disease begins in the gut. Mm-hmm. This is Hippocrates, 2,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
During this time, until last decade, people never paid any attention to what happens in GI. If you go to the doctor, they never ask you, you have a heart disease or cancer or diabetes, never ask you, how is your gut?
Yeah.
Nobody asked this question, even though his father of the medicine said that you have to pay attention to. But anyway, so we knew it. And when I did research, it was amazing that what we call intestinal dysbiosis or gut biosis, that means the number of harmful bacteria increases and number of beneficial bacteria decreases. This is called intestinal dysbiosis. And as you grow older, and as you grow older, with or without any disease, intestinal dysbiosis occur.
Oh, wow.
and severity of intestinal dysbiosis is related to the severity of the disease. This has been all published information now. So the question is how you correct that, how you restore the balance. Well, we have people have been using, our gut has a beneficial bacteria like Bifido strain, Lactobacillus strain, through a very useful one. But they don't. They just start decreasing as you grow older. And if you have disease, then you do it worse. And so how do you restore that? Well, people have been using in a capsule only the Lactobacillus type of, and Bifido bacteria for the supplement. Then what happens that they are very good, but when a capsule form, if you take orally, then 70% get destroyed in the acid pH, because your stomach is very acidic. In acidic environment, they get destroyed. And then they go to intestine, where they again face another hostile environment, the bile acid.
Yeah.
Time they go to their home, which is colon, very few left. And so what we did it in our preparation, I said, we have to find out. So we found out the two strain. One is Bacillus coagulant, and they said clinical doctor expert in GI recommends if you have intestinal bowel syndrome, just the only reason for that. Intestinal bowel syndrome, that means extreme inflammation in the gut. And so they recommend Bacillus coagulant. And Bacillus coagulant is the only FDA-approved probiotics that is allowed to be given in infant formula in order to prevent that no toxic bacteria take a hold in the gut of the baby. So this is very important. Yeah.
Wow.
This has been all published information. And then I said, then there is, and this is interesting, the Bacillus coagulant is isolated from soil. Naturally, it's not there. So if you take it in 5 days, they get eliminated from your intestine. They don't hang around. They do their job and then get out. And then another was Saccharomyces boulardii, which is derived from the yeast. Yeast is also present in your gut, but they are in a quiet fashion. And so this is, some yeast are beneficial, some are harmful. And so this boulardii one, a species, is very useful one. It is just like Bacillus coagulant. It is also resistance to heat. It can be destroyed in heat, can be destroyed by acid pH.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So these two makes a unique preparation of probiotics. So when you take that, now the balance shifts in favor of beneficial bacteria, because if you have a harmful bacteria, intestinal dysbiosis, they produce a lot of toxic chemical, which is absorbed from the intestine. They interfere with the intestine permeability of the intestine, so that toxic organism can get into your bloodstream and cause all kind of problem.
Wow.
So it is very, but in a beneficial bacteria, they produce a lot of good molecules, some vitamin K, vitamin B, many neurotransmitters, and so this is so important that I don't think people realize earlier.
No, I don't think so, Dr. Prasad. I think that this is like a news flash, just how seriously important that particular probiotic is. It's not just a probiotic. It's really serious.
Yeah, it is involved in many diseases. You take the disease and they are involved there. And that's all. In addition to take any medication that doctor recommend, you should take it. But at the same time, you take micronutrient and also collagen peptides and probiotics that we have, because some of the probiotics may not be as good as we have because of these issues that they survive the acid pH, acidity of the stomach.
That's huge. That's huge. Well, it sounds like these three components are crucial then as far as the anti-aging is concerned. You mentioned all of the benefits there right off the bat. And
now how to improve the treatment.
Right.
As you know, here the treatment right now, the I would say most of the cancer, once you get diagnosed of Alzheimer's disease, they give a drug called inhibitor of cholinesterase. And cholinesterase is the enzyme which destroy a molecule called acetylcholine. And this compound, or this is a neurotransmitter, stores memory and your learning ability, acetylcholine. So
Wow.
as well as nerve cell is there and cholinesterase is not too high, acetylcholine will be good, like normal function. But what happens in Alzheimer's, cholinesterase activity increases. So the rate of destruction of acetylcholine becomes high, and then you develop memory loss. So the drug that we are using today is called inhibitor of cholinesterase activity. But these drugs, and there is a name of this drug, donazepam and glutamine and so on, but these are all are inhibitor of cholinesterase, which will increase the level of acetylcholine in your brain,
Right.
in your neuron. But for that, neuron has to be alive. There's another one in a xenomyelin. It is a stimulator of muscarinic receptor, which increases the synthesis of acetylcholine. In this case, they prevent the cholinesterase inhibitor, prevents the degradation of acetylcholine. But this stimulator of muscarinic receptor increases the synthesis of choline. So these drugs are used, but this is very toxic, so they don't use anymore. They are using mostly this one.
Toxic.
But another drug recently approved by the FDA is called anti-beta amyloid antibody. In other words, they develop antibody against the beta amyloid protein.
Oh, wow. That's a new one. Okay.
It's a brand new one, FDA approved. But it is not very, it costs about $20,000 or $30,000 per year and has a minimal effect. Because if you just whatever the available, the amyloid peptide is there, you picked up, you destroy it. But there is other one which is playing a role that you don't do anything about it. For example, continued production of beta amyloid, you don't do anything. Hyperphosphorylation of tau protein, you don't do anything.
Right.
So using a one component is maybe some effect, but I don't think it is a very good effect.
So very limited.
Yeah. So this is the thing. But none of these drugs that we mentioned, to be effective for that drug, neuron has to be alive. Whether it's a cholinesterase inhibitor, or whether it's a stimulator of acetylcholine, or whether even the antibody working, the neuron has to be alive.
Right.
If neuron is dead, there is no place for you to act.
Yep.
You see what I mean? So all these
Yep.
drugs. And why neurons are dying?
Mhm.
Oxidative stress and inflammation are the one which are responsible for killing it.
So it's like rolling the dice. I mean, you may or may not get some benefit from these drugs, but that's what's available.
Yeah, they are effective. But if, for example, cholinesterase inhibitor drug doesn't last more than 3 months.
Yeah.
Because once neuron die, nothing can help. So the question is how to prevent the loss of neuron, death of neuron. And that's the place micro daily EMF comes by reducing oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. It is likely, nobody has done a human trial like Davenport, but based on experimental evidence, one can suggest that this is possible, that they will do it, and therefore it can improve the effectiveness or prolong the effectiveness of cholinesterase inhibitor.
Absolutely. And then if we throw in the brain boost, now we got
brain boost. Yeah, again, brain. Then another brain is more protected than before, and so these are the simple things people can do it, and again, it's a simple clinical trial, but it costs a lot of money.
Right.
And I'm no more doing any research, so I can't even apply for a grant, and so but I published all this information, as you know. Maybe someday some people will do it. But
somebody's going to jump on it. Someone's going to jump on it. But if for no other reason, everybody who's on this meeting right now, everyone who's on this conference right now needs to pay attention to this. The only thing standing in the way of this information that Dr. Prasad has published going into clinical trial stage is the fact that no one's done it yet. That's it. That doesn't stop any one of us from
Yeah,
benefiting from
and
this
because in
research.
non-toxic approach, this is non-toxic approach. Worst thing could happen, it has no effect.
Right. That's the worst thing that could happen.
Yeah.
And then CBD boost would
Yeah.
would also benefit.
CBD is very important because especially if you have advanced cases of a Alzheimer's disease, they develop a very disturbed behavior, abnormal behavior.
Right.
They become anxiety, depression, hallucination, and become very aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
The currently used drug is Prozac and Zoloft, but they have side effects. But CBD does the same thing: calm down, reduce anxiety, reduce depression, and without any toxicity.
Wow, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. So your recommendation?
And a recommendation right here is diet. You try to use low-fat, high-fiber diet of fruits and vegetables and more fish than meat. Lifestyle, stop smoking, reduce the stress of any kind, and daily moderate exercise. Environment, avoid exposure to polluted air and water, heavy metal like mercury, pesticides, and don't get exposed yourself to UV radiation.
Yeah, it sounds like you got to leave planet Earth for this, Dr. Prasad.
Yeah, and don't and reduce the exposure to EMF radiation. And despite, as I said, despite similar recommendation by federal and private agency, age-related dementia, AD, Alzheimer's disease, continue to increase. Why? Human behavior with respect to diet and lifestyle and environment are very difficult to change.
They won't change.
But we try to do as much as possible. We try to teach them every day and see if somebody even follow part of them. It is better than zero.
That's right. That's right. So that's the reason why the proposal is this Dr. Prasad Choice Bundle right here.
Yes, right.
Is the ticket. So
yes,
it's $247, and the only thing missing here is the CBD boost.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And I think again this is applicable for reducing the aging. In other words, you will age, but you will age with quality of life.
Right.
And and reduce the risk of age-related any kind of ill health.
That's right. That's right. That's a big deal. That's huge. And don't forget, folks, take a screenshot. If you didn't get this at the beginning, take a screenshot of this. Grab Dr. Prasad's book on dementia and memory loss. It's available on Amazon. That QR code will take you right to it. And I highly recommend that while you're there, grab that book on fighting cancer with vitamins and antioxidants as well. And for those of you who are here for the first time and wondering how you get access to these products, just get back with the person who invited you, and they'll help you to set up a subscription. And you can get it for the discount price that affiliates get it for. So you don't have no selling is required, but you can tell other people and get rewards for that. So there are ways that you can benefit yourself even more, which actually, tell you the truth, leads to free products. So just telling somebody else about it can mean free product for you. So just get back with the person who invited you, and they will help you with this. So Dr. Prasad, we've gone over time, but you want to take see if we got one or two questions that we can try to squeeze in before we we shut down. And we're going to be having an opportunity meeting also, because with a discussion like this and with a product like this, with discoveries like this, a lot of people wonder if there's an opportunity. But if anyone has a question right now that was not addressed in the discussion, now's the time for you to raise your hand, and let's see if we can't get Dr. Prasad to give a comment on that. So Barbara Green has a question. So go ahead, please, Barbara.
Okay, my question is for one of the preferred customers that Janice Cooley and I recruited, and she started on the EMF, and she immediately stopped her pain. She had she has a lot of sicknesses, but she also had, when listening to Dr. Prasad, I think I found the answer to her question. She wants to know, after she got on it, she started having severe sinus infection. she had to go to the doctor and she's on antibiotics. And I said, no, that's not good. But anyway, she wants to know, was it something in there that she could have been allergic to? But I was thinking the body was cleaning house, huh?
Well, I mean, rarely people have that kind of experience but this is a transient one. Sometimes people have I heard that some people are allergic to, say, vitamin A or C, or sometimes certain ingredient, could be, for example, green tea extract. It could be, susceptible. Sometimes people are susceptible to one of the capsule, like the green capsule that we have now has a chlorophyll complex, and 1 in a million people have an allergic to chlorophyll complex. With that kind of people, I said, just don't take the capsule, because we don't know for sure. But at least experimentally, you try that. You open the capsule and mix with some yogurt or something, and then take it and see if it can help you.
Okay, Dr. Prasad, that's what I'm going to tell her, because she said after she get off of them antibiotics, she's getting back on the micro daily because it did more good than it did. So if she opened the capsule up, that may help her with that.
Yeah.
Sinus.
I think that'll be good. And also that since she's taking antibiotics, then she should also consider taking a probiotics.
Yeah, get on the probiotic also.
Because they will.
And I just want to say one thing about myself. I'm on the micro daily EMF. I got it right this time, Brother Jonathan. I'm on the probiotics. I'm on the brain boost. I'm on the eye boost. I'm on the collagen. I'm on the CBD and the gummies. So I'm planning on being next to perfect within the next couple of weeks.
Gummy,
What effect?
If you want to, but I mean, if gummy is for the kid.
Yeah, but Jonathan said we do them as a little, what you call it, Jonathan?
Oh, that's a snack.
Refreshment?
Oh, yeah. No, that's a snack. No
Yeah.
question about it. That's
Well,
good.
I mean,
that's
it's
just
better
what-
than something else. But
Yes, it is.
as long as you take
Yeah.
only 1 or 2, that's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Appreciate that. And one last question here from Horace and Beverly.
Dr. Prasad, how are
Yeah.
you this evening? My sister-in-law went to the doctors the other day, and when she came back, she said her B12. The doctor said that she had too much B12 in her system. She's not taking B12, but she's taking our products. She's taking the collagen, she's taking the probiotic, and she's taking the EMF. Now, would that cause her B12 to rise, Dr. Prasad?
No, because B12, first, B12 is as you know, it is a very important vitamin for your brain function, everything else, B12. And so the amount is so small. And if she has increased in, say, 3 or 4 times more than the normal, I wouldn't worry about it at all. Because there is no toxicity of vitamin B12. And it is possible that she's eating something or she's not metabolizing it. But as far as the microdaily EMF is concerned, it's very, very tiny amount.
Okay. She's taking 6 microdaily EMFs in the morning and 6 in the afternoon. Should she cut back,
I don't know. I don't know why my recommendation is always 3 in the morning and 3 in the evening.
Okay.
But if you are taking a high dose and if you want to gradually decrease it, then you go gradually, slowly. You don't go like tomorrow, I will start taking a 3 in the morning, 3 in the. So my recommendation is only 3 in the morning and 3 in the evening for people who are just normal health. And so I don't recommend 6 in the morning, 6 in the evening. But even that scenario, there is no reason for getting concerned about vitamin B12 more. Because maybe it is possible that they can eliminate vitamin B12 for whatever reason. There may be some kidney problem issue.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as concerned, until it is 10 times or 20 times more than what you have, I wouldn't be concerned.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you very much, Horace. We got one hand here still up. Tony, go ahead. Let's get this question in real quick before we wrap up.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Dr. Prasad, my question is concerning colonoscopies. My doctor has said he wants me to have a colonoscopy done and an endoscopy done because I had my hemoglobin count dropped. And he said I'm losing blood somewhere because my hemoglobin count has dropped. And then also I did experience losing some weight. But I started taking all of your products and my hemoglobin, it didn't go up or change. It's still at that level, which is low. And my weight has come back up just a little bit. But I'm just wondering, what's your stance? How do you feel about the colonoscopy per se?
I think that's a very good idea to do colonoscopy. Everybody who is after 50, every 10 years, they do colonoscopy, and very simple procedure. The procedure is when you are preparing for colonoscopy one day, that's the only difficult part, but it is very good preventive care, and I would strongly recommend for that.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you for your question, Tony. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. And listen, we're going to be talking with Dr. Prasad again next Sunday. So if you know someone who could have benefited from this discussion today, you want to have them back here for next week's discussion as well. Do not miss that. And in just about 5 minutes, we're going to be talking about the opportunity for anyone who wants to stick around for an opportunity meeting. Go ahead and make sure that you stick around for that right now. But other than that, go ahead, feel free to unmute yourselves and say goodbye to Dr. Prasad. Thank you.
Let's go!
Bye, Doc. Thank you so much, Doc.
Night, Jonathan.
Hey, Dr. Prasad, thank you so much. You're brilliant. Thank you, Dr. Prasad.
Bye.
Thank you.
And
Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, Jonathan. You rock.
thank you guys very much for your support. We'll go to opportunity meeting in just a couple minutes for those who would like to stay around. Okay, let's get ourselves started here, gang. All right, am I unmuted? Yes, I think I am unmuted. So let's get ourselves going here real quick. We're going to shift to an opportunity meeting right now. We'll be talking a little bit about the opportunity associated with this company, Engage Global. And it's going to be real quick, just very brief, because what we hear in meetings like this with Dr. Prasad, it's just some amazing things. And sometimes, to be quite honest with you, it sounds too good to be true. The first time I heard about it, that's kind of how I felt. But just ask yourself a question. Just because something sounds too good to be true, is that enough reason to not proceed any further? I usually suggest to folks, the best thing for you to do is to look a little closer for yourself. Determine for yourself, is there some validity to the discussion? Determine for yourself whether there's some benefit that someone that you care about can be derived from taking some of the products and listening to a gentleman of that caliber. So you have to think about that and then go forward. Try it. That's the best thing. Try it. So let's talk a little bit about making a decision about any opportunity and trying to determine if this particular company is an opportunity. As I mentioned before, my name is Jonathan Jones. Who am I? Nobody special. I can tell you that I have spent some time in the network marketing industry. In fact, I have now created six-figure incomes with two different companies. So I believe that it is possible. I know that network marketing is very successful. I know it can work. Does it work for everybody? Absolutely not. Does everyone have the same level of success? Absolutely not. It really is directly related upon how much energy you put into it. You have to make a decision about whether or not there's an opportunity associated with this particular company right now. And I can tell you from personal experience that I believe that it is. But I think that there's 7 different things that everyone has to examine in making a decision about opportunities. And when you take a good look at those 7 things, and if you can say yes, and if you can say, okay, this could work for me, then I recommend that you go forward with whatever it is that you're looking at, whichever opportunity you happen to be exploring at that time. But these 7 things you're seeing on the screen right now, market trend, product, company, compensation, leadership, and timing, that's universal. That's real. That's not just unique to Engage Global. That's about opportunity in general. Okay? So look at the market. Is there a market for wellness? Because that's the space that Engage Global is in right now. Is there a market for it? Don't take my word or anybody else's word for it. The people who study market trends, the people who study the market, they say that there is. They say right now, worldwide, there's a $4.37 trillion market. In the United States alone is 25% of that. And that's US dollars. That's not the yen. That's not the peso. So the answer to the question, is there a market for wellness? The answer is absolutely yes. No question about that. And the space that this occupies is the top 2 tiers of this graph that you're looking at right now. Personal care and beauty, healthy eating, nutrition, and weight loss. That's where these products are right now. And there's others. Mental wellness, you see $1.31 billion in mental wellness alone. But you combine all of those together, and you look at more than $2 trillion is the space that this company and these products reside in. People are spending lots and lots of money in wellness. That's why it's an opportunity. People are spending a lot of money in wellness. The question is, have you put enough of the products in front of those people that are spending the money? Okay, there is a market. What about the trend? Is it trending downward or is it trending upward? Once again, the people who study it say that coming out as the industry recovers from COVID-19, the trend is an annual growth rate of almost 10%. That's enormous. A 10% growth rate is enormous, especially when you factor in that you're talking about more than $4 trillion. You know what 10% of $4 trillion is? Just do the math. Your calculator might not even go up that high. But that's the projected growth rate for this space. So the answer is yes. The trend is definitely real. So those first 2 areas, absolutely check them both off. What about the product? Well, product is extremely important when it comes to deciding if the opportunity that you're being presented with is good for you. If you were thinking about an opportunity in the music industry, that's a good space to be in. Just ask Taylor Swift or any other very popular musician out there. because that trend is still going up, even in the digital era. But if the product you're selling right now is 8-track tapes, you're out of business because that ship has sailed. It's the wrong product, right industry, good trend, wrong product. So your product, if it's going to be the right product, it's got to be unique, consumable, and there's got to be a demand for it. If you meet those three criteria, you're in the right space. The products that Engage Global have are unique and consumable. Every one of them. They're unique and they're consumable. All of them. Is there a demand though? So the first two, unique and consumable, covered. Is there a demand? The answer is absolutely yes. If people knew what you had. This came straight from the American Heart Association's website, published October of last year. Heart disease death rates spiked during COVID-19 pandemic, erasing years of progress. Did you know that right now, the number 3 cause of death in this country is listed by the CDC as COVID-19? So everything has changed since the pandemic. Cancer's on the rise, diabetes on the rise, COVID brain came into existence, long COVID came into existence. All-cause mortality is on the rise. In some places, it's more than 20% increase. Now, are you wondering what all-cause mortality is? That's the reasons why people die. All the reasons why people die. So over the years prior to the pandemic, there's a certain line that they know exists for the reasons why people die. But since the pandemic, that number has been up. There's been more people dying for other reasons at a rate of somewhere around 20%. All-cause mortality is 20% higher than expected in some areas. In some places, it's as low as 10% in some areas. But either way, the reasons why people die is greater. So more and more people are concerned right now. More and more people are looking for a way to stay healthy easier and help the doctors that are helping them. So unique, consumable, and a very high demand for these products. What about the company? We don't really need to say much about the company. I can just tell you, basically, it's a 10-year-old startup company. So it's been around for 10 years, and there's only a couple thousand distributors at the most in this company. So that's huge. This is the pedigree behind the product. This is the pedigree behind the product. Dr. Kedar Prasad, a gentleman who was invited to be a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee. That's a big deal. The man formulating these products didn't just graduate from high school. He didn't just graduate from college. This man has 30 years as the professor at the University of Colorado School of Medicine. He's got decades of experience. So he's been published more than 250 times, and he's written many, many books. He's discovered all kinds of things having to do with anti-cancer. And his focus on the heart, second to none. So this is the man behind the products that we just saw are unique and consumable and in high demand. Add the brains to the brawn, and you've got a company that's here to stay. That's why it's a 10-year-old startup company. It's been around for a while. So there's no question about the company. The compensation plan, I'm not even gonna say a whole lot about that, except that this is the company that is the only one that has a unique, predictable pay plan. No one else has it. You get paid 3 different ways. 1, 2, 3. 3 different ways that you can earn income through the predictable pay plan. Very simple also. So team bonus, you can build a team if you want to. And you can earn anywhere from $150 a month to $45,000 a month. It depends on you, the amount of effort that you decide to put in. It doesn't take much to do that. If you only want to make $300 a month, then simple. You just put together a team that's selling about $3,000 a month. If you would rather make something more substantial, like $10,000 a month, very simple. You put together a team that's selling about $100,000 dollars worth of product per month. And it doesn't take that many people to do that. Because remember what I told you, there's only about 2,000 total distributors in this company right now. So 2,000. And there are now only about 3 people in the entire company right now that are making over $10,000 per month in income. And there's only one individual right now that has maxed it out at $45,000 per month. So it's still a ground floor opportunity. It's just the very, very beginning. And but it can happen. That's the team bonus part of it. What about the customer commission? This is the second way that you could, if that's all you want to do is focus on customers, you can do that. And it doesn't take much to do that. 6 customers could get you about $200 a month in income. 16 customers could get you close to $1,000 a month in income. If you want to make a little bit more than that, then just go to 32 customers. That's all it takes. It doesn't, so it's not huge. And those folks are not spending a lot of money. You know, those folks are only spending around $190 per month. That's it. So that's what it takes. And the Olivet bonus is kind of a unique thing. This is the third way to get income. You sell a bundle and the company pays you all the upfront money. It's that simple. So take the Dr. Prasad's Choice bundle, for example. You sell one of those for $246.95, and that's what your pay is. They give you the first, this is the person that's on auto ship, by the way. This is a preferred customer that's buying this every month. You get the first one. You get the Olivet bonus for that. And the company is so confident that these people will be happy that they're willing to wait for their profits later. That's not clear. Well, let me put it another way. You sell one of these bundles and you make the whole enchilada. That's it. As I flipped the screen around so I could put it another way. That's kind of a pun, to put it another way, to literally put it another way. Because every time people say, how's this Olivet bonus work? Because it doesn't make sense that you make all the money on that first order. It doesn't make sense. But that's the way this company, that's how they roll. Now, to put that another way, while you're building up your $220 a month income, you put $1,100 in your pocket. While you were building up your little $1,000 a month income, you put about $3,000 in your pocket. That's your gas money, building your 16 customers. While you were building up your $1,800 a month income, you put about $6,000 in your pocket. So that could help you basically fund your endeavor to build your business. So market trend, product company, check. All those 5 things, absolutely no question about it. Engage global really does sound like the way to go when it comes to an opportunity. It meets the criteria. What about leadership? I'm not going to say a whole lot about that, except the calendars are always full of support. You've got support for your support. There's training for training. It's anyone who's thinking about coming into this space and choosing this as an opportunity. We have access to the CEO all the way at the top of the company, all the way down to the customer service agent. Every single one of them, they participate in some level of training and support for you if you're thinking about becoming part of this company. There's a legacy team. The legacy team is having meetings just like this one every single week, multiple times a week. Personally, this is me. I have about at least 3 to 4 meetings every single week where I make myself available to anyone who's on my team. And during the week, I'm doing 3-way calls and other support for my team. And I'm giving you training. I know how to build a network marketing organization. So again, if you're in my group, you can count on having training. The growth team is really the backbone, the true backbone of this entire company right now. And they're really making the engine go. So as the saying goes, you're in business for yourself, but you are not by yourself. There's a lot of leadership. The last criteria for an opportunity is timing. If you were giving an opportunity right now to invest in, say, Twitter, and the timing would not be very good. Or if you were being given an opportunity right now to invest in Facebook or Meta, the timing would not be very good. Or AOL would even be worse, right? But what about now? What about, the opportunity with Engage Global? Here's what Warren Buffett says. Warren Buffett says that a great investment opportunity occurs when a marvelous business encounters a one-time huge but solvable problem. I'm here to tell you folks that right now we got a huge problem. You know how that movie with Tom Hanks in it, Apollo 13, Houston, we have a problem. Just do the research for yourself about health and wellness. We got a huge problem, Houston. But if you join us, we got a solution. All you have to do is invite people to the meeting on Sunday or Tuesday in my group, and then on any of the other meetings with any of the other leaders, Dr. Picola Roberts, Corleen Chavez, Beth Sturtevant, just invite them to their meetings. Share with them the videos that we've produced. And you can see or present to people a solution to their particular problem. And they would then turn around and stop taking their Flintstone vitamins and choose to take the one that really works. There is no other nutritional supplement out there that's more validated and scientifically proven than the one that we have. So I'd say Warren Buffett has put a check mark on the last component about timing. So just get back with the person who invited you to this discussion, and they will help you set up either an affiliate account or a preferred customer account. The choice is yours. We don't really care which one you choose. But if you're looking to create passive income, then you want to be an affiliate. And it costs you a whopping $5,000 to become an affiliate with this company. Oh, I'm sorry, that's a mistake. It will cost you $500. That's a bit, no, excuse me, hold on, my glasses. I didn't take my eye boost. It costs $50, okay, $50 to become an affiliate with this company. So I apologize, I don't want to confuse anybody. It's not $5,000 or $500. It only costs $500, $50 to be an affiliate with this company. $50 to join as an affiliate. And if I invited you to this meeting and you're thinking about being an affiliate, I'll pay the $50 so it won't cost you anything, okay? I'll take care of that if you're my guest on this meeting and you're thinking about becoming an affiliate. So it costs you nothing to get in. Because I think that you'll be happy and you'll get started, and I'll make that $50 back in no time. So I'm not concerned about that at all, personally. So it's my investment in you if I invited you here to this meeting. So I would suggest that you order the Dr. Prasad's Choice bundle and take that for 90 days. Make yourself become a product of the product. That's my recommendation. You heard Dr. Prasad if you were here earlier. And there's not one single thing here that you don't need. The only thing that's missing on this is that you need to add to this is the CBD. So I take that every night. My wife is taking it. And by the way, CBD populates, we have CBD receptors all throughout our body, and it populates the space in the brain that the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein wants to go to. So it populates those receptors. So it'd be like going to Walmart and finding all the parking spaces filled. So I would suggest that you want to fill up all those parking spaces so that the SARS-CoV-2 spike protein cannot find a parking space. So that would be my recommendation. And this bundle and the CBD is a good way to do that if you can afford that. So, but if you can't afford it, you just go with whatever you can. And in order of importance, I have to agree with Dr. Prasad that this is the most important. So number one would be this, and number two would be this, at the very least. Then after that, I highly recommend that you go with the number three and then number four. Personally, I put this one, this is my personal top component. So, but I'm just giving you what Dr. Prasad says in order of priority. If you're not sleeping, I don't think anything is more important than these two, personally. But if you're having trouble with anxiety, I think those two are critically important. You know what? It's hard to even tell you that what's least important on this list. I think they're all important. But anyway, I'm just sharing with you the opportunity at this point. You decide what it is that you would like to do. But I can tell you with confidence that you can take charge of your tomorrow today. This is a perfect opportunity for you to put yourself in a position to change what your future looks like. So it's up to you at this point. Move forward, and we can help you. We'll be happy to help. So there's the opportunity meeting for any of you who are considering it. Get back with the person who invited you to this discussion and they will help you. They will help you to make a decision or get yourself aligned with Engage Global, and you will be happy that you did. You will be happy that you did. So, is there? I see that there may be one or two questions just popped up here. Someone raised a question that did not get answered earlier. Is it okay to take alkaline water along with Micro Daily? There is no problem with it. I have a Kangen water machine myself. I personally have not needed to use it. It's been in storage for a number of years because I believe that the body can become naturally alkaline. That's the best way to get the body alkaline, is to do so naturally. Adding things like apple cider vinegar to your water and fresh squeezed orange juice, apple. Didn't take my evening brain boost. Fresh squeezed lemon with the water in the morning, I think, is a really good way to help with your body's natural pH. However, if you wanted to take alkaline water, there's no objection. Just make sure that you don't overdo it. Don't go too far with the alkalinity. So just be moderate with that, somewhere in the 8 level, at the very most, maybe 9 on the high side. But it will not contraindicate with any of the antioxidants that you're taking. The reason why people have gone with alkaline water is because we have been told that cancer cannot grow in an alkaline environment. But I'm here to tell you that alkaline water is not what's going to cause your entire body to become more alkaline. You need to have your body attacking inflammation and oxidative stress simultaneously. That's what will change the alkalinity and and like I said, apple cider vinegar and lemon water, fresh squeezed lemon, is what really will have the most beneficial effect on your gut when it comes to that. Okay, so those are just my thoughts when it comes to that. And again, I have not used my Kangen machine now. In fact, it's been in storage for about 10 years. I don't have diabetes. I'm not even forced to it. Anytime I've had any issues with inflammation in my toe, I simply increase my Micro Daily. I have no health issues right now. I just turned 61, and that's it. I need to walk more, but the only reason I haven't done that is because we've been living out of a suitcase here for the past year. But we're moving into our new place, by the way. By next coming Friday, next weekend, we'll be moving into our new place. So no more living out of a suitcase for me and Joanda. So the hunt is over. So everything is gone. Someone else has asked a question here or made a comment. Your clean water option, if you want, cut back to 8.5, 9.5. Yeah, that's good too. And naturally alkaline water, Fiji water actually is very good, by the way. And there is some alkaline water that you can get from Trader Joe's that's naturally alkaline as well. Dr. Nakuzi has recommended that natural alkaline water. You can get that from Trader Joe's. Okay, all right, you guys, y'all have a good night. Thank you very much for sticking around and staying with us. Don't forget, if you're in my group this coming Tuesday, you have people who need to hear and learn about Micro Daily. Bring them to the discussion. And on Thursday, teaching network marketing. I will train you. You're looking to create passive income. Thursday at 6 o'clock. And on Friday, 2 solid hours, I'll be available to call them. I'll be there. Times in a week. Next Sunday, Dr. Prasad again. Let's finish the month strong. Okay, you guys, y'all have a good night. Oh, you're all muted. Now you can unmute. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Good night, John.
Thanks, Don. Appreciate it.
Good night, everybody.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to have Daryl say, let's go.
Let's go.
Meet's not over until Daryl declares it's over. Good night, everybody.
Good night, James.
Thank you.
Quite welcome.